I just watched the Kenobi episodes that just aired this weekend. Oh, I'm so excited for this series. This is a spoiler review. I want to point that out right now. Spoilers in this review. If you have not seen Kenobi, go back and watch it now. Just go watch it. Just go. Go. Okay, I'm gonna do this right now. This it was so good. It was so good, so good. I loved the first two episodes of Kenobi. There were a few things I was just like, wait a minute, they can't do that because so and so is in this and this happened this way. So, I mean, there were a few confusing things. I hope they get explained or resolved. Okay? So, first of all, I just got a brand new couch. Perfect thing to watch on my new couch. Awesome. So the first episode started out. The Inquisitors came in. We saw that part in the trailer where their ship lands and they walk out into Tatooine. They're hunting Jedi, obviously. If you've never seen the Rebels, there's a few things that are going to be kind of confusing. I really suggest watching the Rebels either with this if you haven't seen it or before it. Like all the Rebels, all of any Rebels dealing with Obi-Wan Kenobi, you can just go watch it and then watch Kenobi. If you've seen Rebels, you'll feel some of my pain and excitement. Um, so Ewan McGregor, great job. Did a great job coming back into Obi-Wan after, I think they said it was like 17 years since episode 3. That makes me feel really old because I was a teenager. Oh, it's, it, so the first scene, like the first glimpse of Obi-Wan, he's in this like labor camp or something. Not a labor camp, but he's in the meat market industry. They're chopping up this big giant fish thing, and then he goes home. He shows his routine. He goes picks up his creature, goes back out into the desert. He's staying in a cave. That kind of confused me, but also at the same time, it could be near the location his house is in A New Hope. So I just it was so well done, put together. They hid a lot from the trailers. Like they had the first trailer and then they had the second more revealing trailer. I'm gonna hit a few spoiler points in this. Ugh, it was so good. So I have a bunch of points I want to talk about. I want to talk about Obi-Wan, obviously. I want to touch on where he's at. He's setting up to come into, and I feel this series is coming into right before the scene in Rebels where he fights Darth Maul for the last time and he defeats Darth Maul and Darth Maul dies. I feel like this series is right before that Darth Maul, right? Is it before or after? 1 second. Oh, yes. So Kenobi is before Rebels. So using BBY, the Battle Before Yavin timeline, Kenobi is 9 BBY, and time goes backwards, going up to the Battle of Yavin. So Kenobi 9 BBY, Rebels 5 BBY. That is the timeline. It is 4 years before the rebels. That means he has not yet met any of the rebels. I don't even know if he put out that distress in the rebels. He sends out that distress message. That may have been right after Order 66. That may have been right after Order 66. So with that being said, we have our timeline. It's before rebels. So the rebels haven't really, they haven't got out there yet. The rebels are the group that starts the rebellion, or they're part of the rebellion, and the rebellion starts to grow at this point. So let's talk about Owen. He is in episode 2. Owen was like, "Oh, so I guess we're half brothers." He was starting to see, he knew Anakin's anger. He knew Anakin's draw to the dark side. He understood that, I think. I'm sure when Anakin was talking to Padme, he knew Anakin had those anger, and he murdered all the Tusken Raiders. He knew that. So from his point of view, he's protecting Luke from any of that. He doesn't want that. But at the same time, you can see the actor coming in and like taking on the character that was set before him in A New Hope by the previous actor. So he's totally anti Obi-Wan. Luke grows up. He knows Ben out in the desert, the old hermit, and he always says something, that old hermit that in his sorceress ways or wizard. He doesn't like him. He makes it very known. And we saw right in the trailer even his first burn on Obi-Wan. He was like, "Oh, the way you trained Anakin, and look how he turned up. He's dead." He's protective of Luke. He doesn't want Luke to fall into the same pattern that Anakin did. And I think the actor is nailing it. He played Owen quick in episode 2 when Anakin went out, found his mother, and he came back and did the episode 3 when Obi-Wan handed Luke over to Owen and Beru. So I really applaud the actors, especially the one playing Owen. He's nailing but at the same time, there is that one part in the episode where I'm gonna get the 2 episodes mixed up, the first 2 episodes, because I watched them back to back, probably like everybody else did that watched this. So I don't remember if it's 1 or 2, but I know he was in the group of townspeople while Obi-Wan hid in the shadows because the Inquisitor Reva knows who Obi-Wan is, and she would have been like, you're Obi-Wan. Or just pull her lightsaber out. But at the same time, he's in the group of people and she's questioning them where Kenobi is. Where is Kenobi? We know you know where the Jedi is. And he was quiet. So he doesn't hate Obi-Wan. He just doesn't want Luke to fall into the dangers of becoming a Jedi and possibly going to the dark side or dying. He protected Obi-Wan from the Inquisitors, and good job. That was good. I liked that. They put that in there. Like, he doesn't want to harm Obi-Wan. He just doesn't want Obi-Wan to be a part of Luke's life. So we know Owen's position towards Obi-Wan. But at the same time, Obi-Wan has this attachment to Luke because he was so close to Anakin throughout the years, the Clone Wars, training and teaching him the Jedi ways. So he has this unique attachment to Luke, almost like almost like an uncle figure, and then Owen's like the dad. And Obi-Wan is friends with like this Jawa, and when he's in his cave, the Jawa shows up and he's like, "Oh, what do you got today?" And the Jawa shows him, and he's got these toy ships, and I was like, "The toy ships! The toy ships!" Ah! So if you remember back to Episode 4, A New Hope, when C-3PO is getting the oil bath and just talking and chattering, Luke's sitting there and he's flying around this model ship. And the Jawa brings broken model toys to Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan, I assume, fixes them up a little bit or cleans them or something. And he drops, I don't know when it happens or how it happens, but he like gets the toys to the Lars residence, and he's up on the mountain and he's watching down with his binoculars, and he's like looking around, and he sees Luke playing on the house like it's a ship, and he's flying around. And then when he's in the town, like probably the next day, he's getting his I don't know what they're called, the riding animal that he gets. He takes the tram back to the town from his workplace, and then he rides his animal back to the cave. He's getting his animal out of the stable there, and Owen shows up, and he's like, "I told you to leave us alone," and throws the bag of toys at Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan's like, "They're just toys, you know?" So to me, he's like, right now, I feel like he's like that uncle. He wants to be a part of the kid's life, but at the same time, the dad's like, "No, I know what you did. I don't want you near him because I don't want him to get hurt." So that's like my review on Owen. So moving on, we go into we honestly we did not get enough Luke yet. I feel like they're gonna touch more on Luke in the next few episodes, because this is the major spoiler, and they hid it. And if you haven't seen it, stop now. I paused so you could stop. Alderaan. They have the whole first 2 episodes are about Leia. The oh my goodness, 10-year-old Leia is like extremely funny. Carrie Fisher was the sassy, she was witty, she was fierce, she was like kick butt. And they nailed it with the actress choice of Vivian Lyra Blair. She did such a good job. She's so sassy towards everybody. She's wise. She's witty. She's like, I'm big. I can do stuff too, you know. I was just like, oh my goodness, they nailed it. They just nailed it on the head. It was such a good choice for young Leia. I have high hopes for this little actress for playing Leia in hopefully maybe other shows even. Oh, it was so good. Ah, so Vivian Lyra Blair did such a good job. I want to put that out there. And the whole plot, I won't give everything away, but the whole plot was the Riva, the Inquisitor Riva, which that was I feel like she's gonna end up dying. I kind of not hope she dies, but I'm like I'm 90% sure she's gonna die at the end of this series because she's not in the Rebels. So she she has these bounty hunters or thugs or whatever kidnap Leia after like this big senator party that Bale has held at his home, and these thugs kidnap Leia. They take her back, and Bale contacts Obi-Wan because he's like, I was waiting for the line. I was like, "You're my only hope." Say it. Obi-Wan, you're my only hope. I was waiting. I never got that line. Help me, Obi-Wan. You're my only hope. I never got that line. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. They could have like slipped that in there, and then it would have been like, but no, no, not in there. Sorry, nope. Jimmy Smits did phenomenal coming back as Bail Organa after so many years. He did not even skip a beat. He was like, "I'm Bail Organa again," obviously, because who else was gonna play me? Um, so I mentioned earlier that Owen burned Obi-Wan with like you trained his father. Bail comes in with the second burn. Obi-Wan's like, I can't. I'm in hiding. I'm in exile. Blah blah blah. I just can't do it. Bail. They'll find me. They'll come after me. You know that. And Bail's like, this is my daughter we're talking about. And Obi-Wan's like, Bail, I can't do this. And he comes back with, you would do it for Anakin because she's his daughter. I'm sorry. What? No. So, uh, I was just like, oh, second burn to Bale. So, Owen for the first burn, Bale for the second burn. I was just like, Obi-Wan, you're getting burned like Anakin got burnt to a crisp, okay? That's, I was, so I'm waiting for the other Obi-Wan burns, but at the same time, I'm like, Obi-Wan needs to like bring his wit back in and do some burning. I mean, he did enough burning, but you know what I mean. Let's go back before the thugs get Leia. We're at the Organa Senator party at their house. Um, in the background, like Leia and the other kids are sitting at the kids' table. Go figure. And like they show this gold droid, and I'm like, oh, C-3PO. He's gonna. And then the silver droid comes over and serves the kids. And I was like, oh, you could have had him just. So I'm hoping maybe Anthony Daniels comes in and does C-3PO, and he has a few speaking parts with the other actors, and he gets to be C-3PO because that would make my day. So I'm like, yeah, I saw C-3PO, and then they just here's a different droid. No, well, you could have used C-3PO. So I'm pretty sure C-3PO is going to be a little bit more in it, and at the same time, the Organas also own R2D2. Like they have C-3PO, R2D2, Leia, and then the three of them all end up on the blockade runner in A New Hope. Of course, that's like 10 more years after this. Yeah, I'm hopeful that R2 and C3PO come in and they're like a part of the show. Not so much like background characters, like they showed C3PO real quick and then they switched over and okay, here's the silver droid serving the kids. So that, I mean, that was a little disappointing. Okay, now we're gonna hit on some Easter eggs and hidden gems in there. Um, okay, so in case people didn't know, Obi-Wan goes to this dungy city planet. It's called Daiyu, Daiyu, Daiyu. So he's there. That's where Leia's being held. He tracks the ship. He gets there. He finds where she's hidden, rescues her, leaves. They show a little bit of him like walking through the streets, and there's a beggar on the side of the street, and it's a 501st clone. And he's got like this big beard and long hair. And Obi-Wan kind of feels sorry because he was friends with a lot of clones and stuff. And I found out like a little bit after the show because they credited him to Maura Morrison. I was like, all right, that's awesome. He comes in, puts, wig and beard. He gets to play this like random clone who's obviously out of a job. And I found out it was Tamora Morrison. So good job keeping the continuity. I like that. Then Obi-Wan meets this obviously con artist who fakes being a Jedi. And he's played by I forget his name, but it's the guy from Eternals, and he was so funny. He was like the comic relief because he's like, oh, you poor things, and he shuts the shades and talks to the people and cons them out of their credits, and he's using remotes and magnets, and Obi-Wan catches him, and he's like, you're gonna be a Jedi. I gotta talk about the Inquisitors. Moses Ingram did a good job. She played the part well as Reva. I'm glad it's before the Rebels because she's not in the Rebels. I've seen all the Rebels all the way through. She's not in the Rebels. The Grand Inquisitor is in the Rebels. We'll get to him because I'm totally confused. They don't really explain Reva's lust for killing Obi-Wan. It doesn't make any sense. Unless, I know there's a theory out there where she's one of those Padawans at the beginning of the show. They show Order 66, and does she feel abandoned by the Jedi, and like he's the last surviving Jedi? And she knows he's alive somewhere, and she's like, I'm gonna kill him because he abandoned me. Well, it wasn't Obi-Wan directly, was it? So I'm hoping, because she's like the main villain of the whole Kenobi series, I hope they touch more on like her backstory. I know they would, but at the same time, like, they should have brought that forward first, so we know, oh, that's why she hates Obi-Wan. To me, it didn't make any sense. It started out with the Order 66 and went right into, like, it showed the story of Obi-Wan in episodes 1, 2, and 3, and then it comes to Tatooine and shows Obi-Wan working at the meat market. And then Reva hates him. Okay? Who's Reva? I don't know who this character is. I'm interested. I want to know like more of your backstory. Show me some backstory, okay? All right. Grand Inquisitor. Main villain in Rebels up until we get the Chiss himself, Thrawn. Grand Inquisitor. He's a formidable opponent for the Rebels. Like you've got the that lieutenant there with the sideburns. I forget the name of right off. Callus, I think. And then you have the Grand Inquisitor. They make it look like in Kenobi that Reva kills him because she wants to find Obi-Wan her way. But then it's like, he's in the Rebels. I think he dies in the Rebels too. And I'm like, is it like his brother? Does he have like a twin brother? And they're both Inquisitors? It didn't make any sense to me. So, yeah. So he's a Pa'un. I just looked this up. He's a Pa'un from Utapau. And Obi-Wan meets these guys in episode 3. And at the ones in Utapau they're like they help him so he knows to where Grievous is because he's after Grievous in episode 3. As far as we know, the Grand Inquisitor is the only Pa'un Inquisitor. But like, so he gets stabbed in the lower gut by Reva because he's trying to teach her patience to hunt the Jedi because Obi-Wan just keeps getting away and she wants to kill Obi-Wan. And so she stabs the Inquisitor. So I'm like, does he come back? Because he's in the Rebels. And that was the biggest question. Everybody's like, wait a minute. So that's gotta be like fixed. That's gotta be fixed. I can't wait for next week's episode coming up in pretty soon here. So yeah, I was totally confused. Grand Inquisitor, the actor did good. They could have had a narrow face because the species is supposed to have a narrower face and sharper teeth. And they did a phenomenal job. They actually based the Rebels Grand Inquisitor off of the Pa'un senator in episode 3. The narrow face, the tall body, the thinner neck. And they like to wear like the high collars, and that's what he wears, the high collar Inquisitor outfit in Rebels. But then this one's like, so I'm hoping he like they like, oh yeah, he just needed a bacta tank and he's good, he's coming back in. Yeah, that's how I feel about the Grand Inquisitor. Altogether, I just want to say Deborah Chow did a superb job on these first 2 episodes of Kenobi. I am excited. Obi-Wan's one of my favorite characters. I played Obi-Wan at a Comic-Con a couple years ago. I'm so glad Hayden Christensen came back and he's doing Darth Vader. And he like, right at the end of the 2nd episode, they show him in his bacta tank. And I was like, haha. And but I'm really excited for this series, and I'm going to review. I want to review every Kenobi episode that comes out. So if you want spoilers, watch my videos. If you want my opinion on the Kenobi series, come on over, give my videos a watch. But yeah, that's my review on the Kenobi series. I hope you guys liked it. and I will catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.